Okay, I'm doing another Insta360 test. I've actually got the exposure compensation set on 0. This is not HDR. Having a look at and see how it deals with very high contrast scenes. You see, I'm in the shade right now, but I have pretty much a lot of bright sunlight all around me. I'm in the middle of Mongkok in Hong Kong, if you didn't know. But yeah, it's really bright here. And it doesn't, at least on the camera preview, it doesn't look like it's dealing well with the high dynamic range of this environment. So the next step is to switch it to HDR mode and see how much better it is. This is just a quick test, but yeah, hopefully I learned something from it, and so do you. And I'm on the Insta360 X3 if you didn't already know. But I'll put that stuff in the description and the title, so you should know. Alright, I'll walk around a little bit. I'll walk in a circle, maybe. Actually, I'll walk in the sunlight. It looks really blown out here. It's on auto ISO, and I set the shutter speed to 1/200th of a second, so I think it's not doing a great job on the exposure, at least the automatic exposure. Yeah, why? Maybe my ISO is too, I mean, maybe my shutter speed isn't fast enough. But it's 1/200th. Or maybe the aperture of the camera is, yeah, it's the aperture. The aperture of the camera is fixed, right? So I can't, it's like a 2 point something. So that's why it's blown out. Okay, I just answered my own question. But now you know, if you set the shutter speed manually, it might be, it might overexpose because too much light. I can't adjust it on the fly, can I? No, I can't. I got to cut the recording before I adjust it. So I'm going to do that. So no to 1/200th of a second in bright light. Let's find something a lot faster, the shutter speed. Wow, it looks like it needs 1/640 in this environment, which makes total sense. I actually just put on auto now, so here's another test of this high dynamic range environment. This is just me mucking around with the camera, just playing with it and getting to really know how it works and to be able to set it optimally. So have a look around. This is auto shutter speed, auto ISO, which I guess, yeah, I guess the camera knows what it's doing. That's enough walking around. Now it's time to try the HDR mode, which I found isn't great for walking around, but it's okay, it's usable. So let's do that now. Okay, it's called active HDR mode, and looks pretty nice. This is why I prefer the X3 over the 1-inch Insta360 camera. There's like it goes on the RS, but there's like a 1-inch sensor version. But it doesn't have HDR. This does. Look at the blue sky. Now it's exposed for the sky. And I think the shadow areas look pretty good too. You don't get any log profiles. I guess it wouldn't make sense to get log. But it would be nice for them to give me a flatter version that I could grade. But then I think this looks pretty good anyway. Maybe you don't need that. I mean, I could still grade this one. But you know, it's nice to have options, but I don't think it's that necessary. This is super high dynamic range, this environment. So you got like direct sunlight. Now you got some shade areas. It's doing a great job. This is like pretty extreme. I would say if I was going to be super critical that it probably is just blowing out a little bit in the sunlight areas, but then again, it's doing a great job for a small camera with small sensors. I'd really like to see if they could get HDR in a 1-inch sensor version of this camera, and hopefully not modular. I don't really like the modular Insta360 RS because I want a specific tool for a specific job, and if it doesn't do that job well, then I'll just get the other tool. But then again, you end up having to spend a lot of money and buying lots of cameras. So that said, I prefer that, but I think the RS is pretty good. Girafflia, my friend, who hasn't actually posted much, but he bought one of them, and I'm trying to get him out when he's less busy to film with me. But he got that camera, and I think it's pretty cool. If you only had to get, if you could only get one camera, why not get the RS, which can do like the 1-inch Leica high quality lens, and the standard one, and the 360, and the 1-inch 360. It's an interesting idea. It's kind of like having a mirrorless camera or a digital SLR. You kind of can change it and make it modular. So, not for me, but it might be for you. Yeah, anyway, this became a HDR test. So, what the last thing I should do is change my walking speed to see how good or bad it looks, because they don't recommend it for moving objects and stuff, because you can get a bit of ghosting, but in my experience, it's not even that noticeable. I'd rather have a little bit of ghosting, but have nice blue skies that, you know, that are exposed nicely and aren't blown out. And I could take a little bit of artifacts and stuff, a little bit of ghosting. And it also depends on how you're going to output it. Are people watching it on their phones? Because on the phone you're going to notice the blown out sky, but you're not zoomed in that much to be able to see the ghosting, because it's kind of subtle. But you let me know what you think. So this is my walking pace. I'm gonna do a fast walking pace. I don't want to run because I'm gonna bowl someone over. This is my fast walking pace. Like if I'm trying to catch a train or a bus, this is my walking pace. In the sunlight, now back in the shade. I'm gonna have a look at this in post and probably write my comments in the description. I'm also looking for my lunch, so when I have a bit of free time, I take the camera out and record a bit just to put it through its paces and to get more familiar with it and to kind of know where the limits of the camera are. It just helps you make better content if you're familiar with your tools and you know how far you can push it. There's always a limit. Everything has a trade-off, whether it be weight and size or price, capability, sizes of lenses, sensors, that kind of stuff. So when I post these, it's not like I'm saying this camera's bad. No, not at all. I'm trying to see how far I can use this camera. How actually, what its capabilities are. And I think if you're a creative that wants to get better at these tools, or you're a professional or semi-professional, or someone that just likes tinkering with cameras, you should do this and then post it up on the internet, where strangers will come and pick you to pieces. But that's okay. I think growing a bit of a tough skin is also important, because the internet's full of complainers, really, or you know, armchair critics. But that's okay. That's part of the internet, and it makes you better at it too. So anyway, this is gonna check out this feat with the LED. Interesting how this camera deals with light sources, because it needs a fast shutter speed to be able to stabilize like every frame. Like every frame has to be sharp. So it does tend to flicker a bit when you have artificial light sources like LEDs and stuff. What to eat for lunch? There's a lot of choice. It's a really busy city here, but I kind of tried everything. So when it's lunchtime, I kind of don't know what to get sometimes, which means I just walk around. But that's cool because I can bring this camera along and do a bit of a test video and post up the results on YouTube and see how the end result looks. And then I'll know, oh, I could use this camera for this case, or this purpose, or this, I want to film this thing, and it will do a good job, or it wouldn't do a good job, because I know that, oh, HDR looks a bit bad in this example, or whatever. So, yeah, I'm going to end it soon, but if you look into the video description, I'm going to put chapters, so I'll clearly mark out which is HDR and which is the manual shutter speed, which one's the auto shutter speed, SDR, standard dynamic range. And I think that's a lot of video already. I'm getting to like the 10-minute mark, and then the audio starts to get out of sync, but it doesn't even matter because I'm wearing a mask, so you can't see my lip movements, which is kind of a good thing, kind of an advantage. We're still wearing masks here in Hong Kong, can you believe it? It's Friday 21st of October 2022, and if you don't wear masks, then you get arrested. So yeah, well, you can wear it if you're like, you don't have to wear it if you're eating, or I guess if you're doing strenuous work like these guys. It's probably forgivable by the police, because have you ever exercised in a mask? They get wet and they stop working. You can't even breathe with them. What to get for lunch? Alright, this video is long enough. I'm going to not synchronize the sound, so last thing I should do is do a sound check. Hello, at 9 minutes, is it in sync? I've been having problems with audio sync. I can't clap my hands, can I? I can click. Here. Okay, that's just a test that the video is in sync, because I'm not gonna fix it in post for this one. It's fixable, it's just annoying. And that will end the video here. So, thanks for watching my test video, my diary, Josh's video diary, and catch you on the next video. Bye.